Professor Hanafi, we are witnessing today worldwide movements, political movements inspired by Islam, both peaceful and sometimes violent movements. Are these movements to stay? Will they have a lasting impact on Islam in the future, or will they disappear quickly?
As far as the actual historical circumstances exist, it will stay. A boy who is 18 years old, uneducated, unemployed, having no home. There are about 4 million Egyptians living in the city of the desert and in the Thumes around Cairo, the peripheral Cairo. From there, Islamic movements, young people are recruited. Then, if somebody comes and tell him, come and we'll make you the prince of the world and the future Messiah, then he would come. If he does not want to go to drugs or immigrate to the Gulf or to Canada and USA.
What you are saying is that as long as the socio-economic circumstances feeding these movements will endure, these movements will have a breeding ground and will last in the future as well. Is then the socio-economic background, is that the only basis for such movement, or is there a broader, perhaps political awareness, a longing for social justice, which has a broad basis in many parts of the world, which really explains also these movements and explains their vitality, Professor Katani?
Yeah, I don't feel at ease with what I heard now, because it gives me the impression that Islamic movement comes as a reaction of ignorance or poverty, etc. This is not the case. Really, there is a crisis in the Muslim world. It's a fact. Muslim world entered the 20th century in a very bad shape, colonized practically entirely. And then there was Islam and other ideologies that entered in, like nationalism and so forth and so on, Arab nationalism, Turkish nationalism and so forth and so on, that promised communism, etc., that promised to improve the lot of the people. By 1970s, 80s, they all failed. Now, whether it's my view, this is the truth or not, but this is the point of view of the masses of the Muslims. Therefore, Islam came in and took again its right place that it had always had in the past in the Muslim nations, to try to find solution to real problems. Now, it is not, I mean, those who are more or less, now let's say, Islamists are moving, first of all, they try their ground. There are different movements, different types, and so forth and so on. They try. It doesn't mean that they are not Islamic or anything. There is a diversity of Islamic movements. It's normal. You cannot put all of them in the same package. But they are trying their way. There is a Muslim Islamic mouvance, if I can use a French word, right? The other thing that we should be aware of is it's really wrong and it's not true to link up violence with Islamic movement.
But the reality shows us in some cases that violence is used in the name of Islam.
Let me qualify what I'm saying. When there is a violent situation, Islamic movement become violent. I will explain that. When there is no violent situation, Islamic movements are not violent. Islamic movements are not violent in Morocco because there is no violent situation. There is violence in Algeria because the state has made the violence, because when you have elections and 80% of the people choose a party and then you come and you have a coup d'etat, and this is a violent situation. So there is a violence of the state and of the people of Algeria in the name of Islam. Otherwise they would have been violent anyway, in any name and under such circumstances.
This is clear.